I see you wearing a shirt that says what I think is historic or historic. And what I think is that the moment we're recording this, Delhi Capitals has just has just gone through what I would think of as a historic bottling of a chase that they had made simple. But obviously, we're going to talk about a lot more than that. But DJ, how are you doing, man? How's IPL season going? We're in the middle overs now. This is kind of that phase where it's hard to keep momentum sometimes. I think 30 odd games are done now, if I'm not mistaken. We just played the 29th, and there are 70 group games. So this is the phase where momentum starts to slip a little in our IPL fandom. How are you doing? How are you holding up?
I'm well, man. I just wanted to point out before we got into the thick of it, there was only one guy that said that DC would make the playoffs, right? One guy on the podcast. Probably one guy in all of India that was saying that DC would make the
I mean,
playoffs.
to be very fair, on the back of what I saw about 20 minutes ago, I'm not changing my
Yeah,
predictions.
but this was classic DC
What
back.
happened?
So after a long time, like I said, I'm going to sit down on a Sunday, watch most of the game. Delhi versus Mumbai. Mumbai, I think they were ninth in on the table.
Hmm.
Delhi were top of the table,
Hmm.
shockingly going into this game, and it was, as you said, a historic bottling.
Just,
Of-
just of epic proportions, absolutely.
but it's historic in the sense that we've seen it before because the history repeating itself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
We've seen it
absolutely.
so many times, the
Too many
same thing.
times.
This time it was
Yeah.
just pantless. It was just like with somebody else.
And Dan Delhi felt pantless in the moment.
Yeah,
Um,
joke.
yeah, listen, the episode title we put out there, which is which is a little bit controversial, but are we back in 2009? It is the 18th year of the IPL, DJ, 2025, and yet we're kind of looking at this and saying MS Dhoni is back in as captain of CSK. Ajinkya Rahane is captain and playing an important role for his side. RP Singh was showing up on the TV. Karan Sharma has come back in. I mean, and took the 3 wickets and just did well. Like there are elements of this that just feel like, and oh, by the way, KKR is still reliant on Narayan and Russell. And anyway, it just feels like we've taken a little bit of a trip back in time. Is that how you'd summarize a little bit of what we've seen in the last, call it, week or two of IPL cricket?
Yeah, two more things. Delhi was top of the table back in 20,
Yeah,
2009
yeah.
in their Daredevils avatar.
This would have been
And
Sehwag, Warner, AB, Dilshan, McGrath. Oh, what a time that was. Anyway,
yeah, and Karan Nair, blast from the past, man. He played a cracking knock, like just took people apart, had a bit of a spat with Jasprit Bumrah, man.
so good.
It's yeah, what a time to be alive.
We will talk
2009.
a little bit more about Karan Nair, but man, it's been such an interesting IPL season. So let's talk quickly about the points table as it stands. And I was very ready to have a very different tone of a conversation as a Delhi fan, being the only undefeated team going into. I mean, how did you describe it? I think Delhi lost. They lost this game to Mumbai with a Karan Sharma 3 wicket haul and a hat trick in a Bumrah over. But Bumrah took none of those wickets. Or not a hat trick that started in the Bumrah over. I mean, just absolutely wild. But DJ sitting here, Gujarat, Delhi, Bangalore, and Lucknow all at 8 points at the top. Very different to what most people would have thought. And then still, even despite the win, Chennai, Hyderabad, Rajasthan, Mumbai at the bottom four. Actually, that might have been my four picks for the playoffs. I'm pretty sure I said Chennai, Hyderabad, and Mumbai. I may have picked KKR as the fourth. But anyway, surprised on the one hand, you're looking at this and saying Mumbai always starts slow. They're starting to pick up some steam. CSK has looked weak on paper and losing Ruturaj, which we'll come back and talk about MSD, the phenomenon. But like, are you surprised by this as a whole? And Hyderabad is now picking up form. Travis Sheikh is back. There's so much to think through. But are you surprised by the point table at the 29 game mark?
I mean, I think pretty much everyone is, right? Because as you said, I think those were our top. I think most of us had three common picks, which were Hyderabad. I would put them right on top,
Yeah.
with a solid team, just not done what they need to do. Followed by Mumbai. I mean, you've got people like Tilak. I mean, we'll talk about what Tilak was retired. Like that was a weird move, and he's been good after that. Um, And CSK, like Chennai, I think we were just saying that they'd make it through, and I'd pick DC as my fourth team just for fun.
Yeah,
They're the only one that have any. So, but it teaches you nobody knows anything about the IPL. Nobody
yeah.
really sees what the form is. It's all a bonkers like extravaganza of cricket. You can't tell.
Actually, I'll use this to do a quick plug of a podcast that a lot of people, a lot of you listeners and stuff as well, have been sharing with me. It's a show called Acquired, where they do these long
Oh
form
yeah, it's good.
business series. Did you get it? Did you listen to the
Yeah,
IPL
yeah,
one?
yeah. I've listened to it because it's the only league that they've talked about. They usually talk about companies, right?
Yeah,
Like they talk about like
which,
Starbucks
which
and
IPL
stuff
is,
like
right?
that.
It's a business, and
Yeah,
um, yeah. But anyway, it's an interesting listen, and they talk about how the IPL is relatively equalized by virtue of how the league is structured, salary caps, auction process, this and that. So it is not unusual that a third of the league in, there's no undefeated teams anymore. There's no team that is yet to win anymore, which in most leagues happens. You have these crazy disparities between like a Manchester City and Brentford or somebody if you're an English Premier League fan, or in the NFL there's parallels, and there's not quite that in the IPL, and that's what's made it
yeah.
so much fun. Now you do have skippers and coaches who know how to lead their teams to trophies, and others who haven't been able to. But anyway, DJ, a lot to uncover, right? RCB in third place on the points table. Virat Kohli made a 50 earlier today. Phil Salt, by the way, also starting to look really good. So without getting into too many details, let's talk about a couple of things that have happened recently. Okay, so yesterday at the time of recording this, Sunrisers Hyderabad played against, it was Shreyas Iyer's Punjab team. Okay, I'm going to run through very quickly the scorecard, or not the whole scorecard, but the Punjab team batted first and made 245. Let's start with this new avatar of Shreyas Iyer. Some are calling him 2.0, 3.0, whatever it is. 82 runs off 36 balls. I think he's pretty high up there he's number 4 on the orange cap list right now. 250 runs this season. I mean, I didn't even check the fantasy league because he was a sure shot pick for everybody now, and yes, he was the KKR trophy lifting captain, but also he got released by them. He doesn't walk into the Indian side, especially not in this format. How brilliant has Shreyas been both as a skipper and as a batter this season?
He's got a point to prove, right? Like
Yeah,
but he's also a trophy-winning guy. He's won like 6 trophies in the last
yeah,
12 months or
yeah.
something crazy like that. So, no, he's batting well, man. Champions Trophy winner recently as well. Um, yeah, he's putting his hand up. He looks good and he's hitting it clean, right? And plus, I mean, he's got some pretty good batting conditions. To be fair, to him.
Yeah, no,
If you
absolutely.
get two
No.
forty five, I mean, means it's belter pitch, right? So.
And then, what percent of the time, as a captain who bats first, do you think you're winning a game with 245?
99% of the time, I'd say. You think, and
Yeah, and
99.5% you actually win it. I think there's been
and
one chase higher than that. It must be
yeah,
the Johnny Besto one. Punjab did
even
it.
yes, that's probably right. Even the 1% where you think you might not win it, you think it may come down to the last ball.
Eventually. Yeah,
The
because
last
Delhi will
ball.
get run out like three
Yeah,
or something
yeah.
stupid will happen.
Something
Yeah,
insane
yeah.
will happen. I'm not even talking. I said there was a hat trick in a Bumrah over, and I glazed past what happened. But let's talk for a second about Abhishek Sharma. So a lukewarm start to the season for Abhishek, whatever we're calling them. Um, and not a bad start. They had a couple of decent knocks, but my goodness, when they came out and made the Punjab bowling lineup, which by the way, Arshdeep Singh, Marco Janssen, Lockie Ferguson. I mean, not a bad bowling lineup on paper by any. And then of course they ended up bowling. They played Yash Thakur, Maxwell bowled 3 overs, etc. But my goodness, like you've seen it before, and still when Travis Head and Abhishek Sharma go ballistic, it is unlike it's unlike anything else. I think in IPL or the world of cricket. I mean, Abhishek ended on 141 of 55 balls. Piece of paper came out when he made his first century, by the way. So think of how long he's had
In
that
the IPL,
first
he's
IPL
got
century.
70
Correct,
20
correct.
centuries otherwise. Like this is his
Wow,
70-20 century.
I didn't
He's got
realize that much.
centuries for
Yeah,
India and stuff.
first
So
I knew he did for India, but I didn't know it was 7. So it must be another other teams saved
it
Mush
must be
Ali or something.
smart and stuff.
Yeah,
Like, yeah,
but
it must be
man,
stuff there.
141 in 55 balls, the highest individual score by an Indian player in the IPL's history. I mean, what do you even say about that? Are there words or is there any hyperbole that can describe it?
It was unbelievable. I mean, like Travis Head, you call it Travis Head, but this was the Abhishek Sharma
Yeah,
show
yeah,
with
yeah,
Travis
yeah.
Head watching. Basically, I think Travis Head made like 65 of 30 or something like that. So he was going at 200, but he
Yeah,
looked
which seems
slow
so low. Yeah,
comparatively.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was like he was just watching the Abhishek Sharma show, and there was one shot, man. Like it was just before he got to his 100, I think, where he played like a helicopter shot, and the ball just went miles. It went nearly outside the ground, and it
Yeah,
was just the sound of the bat. You could hear it through the TV, man. Like I can't even believe what it would have been like
yeah.
at the stadium. Of course, yes, again a good pitch. He was dropped a couple of times. I think Stoinis dropped him once. Chehel dropped him once. So yeah,
Of
he had his
course,
bit of luck,
you
but
take it. Yeah,
man, he to keep someone like we said this before, to keep someone like Jaiswal out of the Indian T20 side, and you have to be pretty special, right?
yeah,
And this guy, he's just, I mean, he's where Ishan Kishan was like maybe 4 years ago, but
yeah,
on steroids.
yeah.
Like that's where he is, and he doesn't stop. He just keeps going, 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 going. It was just yeah, it was you were left speechless at the end of that assault, and
And he had only made 50 runs in the first 5 innings he played, right? So he wasn't coming off of great form or anything. 24-year-old. His parents were in the crowd, by the way. I don't know if you saw that as they were
ah,
cutting to him. That was a nice moment. But yeah, just tremendous. Just absolutely tremendous. I mean, not a lot else you could say about that. DJ, let's pivot and quickly talk about the side that I thought would be table toppers. They're close. They're tied at 8 points. But let's talk about the Delhi team. I wasn't actually planning to talk about this Mumbai game in too much detail, but we will very quickly. Where um, Mumbai bats first, and sorry, I'm trying to pull up the scorecard as we talk. Mumbai bats first, makes 100 and makes 205, and you're thinking that's a decent total. Yes, at Arun Jetli, anything is possible. Like Sky was hitting them out of the park. Tilak found some more form. Namand here hit a great knock at the end. Faf du Plessis injured, has come and gone. By the way, Jake Fraser McGurk seems to be, Varun would call him he's going the direction of Prithvi Shaw, which is harsh to both of them somehow, I think. But with Faf out, you bring in a guy who is not only a test match triple centurion for India, but is had a phenomenal Syed Mushtaq Ali trophy. I made 500 plus runs at a striker of 177. And Karun Nair comes in and just makes for this is a harsh sentence, but it makes Bumrah look like a gully cricketer a little bit, just hitting it all around the park. There was equal balance of these glorious cover drives, just class and like what made him a test cricketer, and then these hoiks where he was kind of almost falling over himself and the ball was still going for six. Uh, I mean, DJ, how often do we see this? That a guy sitting on the bench is just waiting for his opportunity, and then he gets one look in, and now you're thinking, how on earth was Delhi leaving this guy out of any game before, right? Thoughts on Karun?
yeah, I mean, unbelievable, right? What 2017 triple centurion?
Yeah.
So that's 8 years ago. Uh, First ball, Jake goes, lobs a catch to
First ball of the
cover
match, yeah.
of the innings.
Oh, sorry, innings, yeah.
And then Chehel bowls like a beauty. This first ball that Karun Nair is setting up to play in the IPL after quite a long time. Bowls an absolute beauty. Nair keeps it out, and then man, it was carnage. It was just great to watch, and I mean, as you put it well, right? Like Delhi's a great Test match team. It's got some great
It
Test
got even
cricketers
better with Karun coming in.
with Karan's triple century coming in. But look, he's bided his time, right? He's done whatever he needed to do. He's kind of got 800 runs in the domestic game, went to the final of the Ranji Trophy, scored runs in the SMAT, he scored runs in the List A tournament. It's he's tried to, and this was his time. But obviously, like if he'd got out first ball or second ball, it would have felt like he'd fluffed it on the big stage.
Yeah.
This was his time to get all those eyeballs in Indian cricket back looking at him. It's a little bit like what Sky did a few years ago when, like, he
Yeah.
made
Stamped his
himself
authority. Yeah.
impossible to ignore, right?
Yeah.
And this, I'm not saying Karan is there, and I'm not even saying that for the T20 game. More like the Test game and the ODI is probably more suited to his style. But he made a statement today. It was a statement of intent. It was a
Yeah.
statement like I'm here. I have played Test cricket for India, and it's weird like that. You're thinking of this guy in an ODI form when he just smacked like Jasprit Bumrah, one of the greatest bowlers alive, probably in the history of the game.
Yeah.
He smacked him around the ground. It's and had a little bit of a run in with him as well on the ground.
Yeah.
Do you know what happened there? Like I think he literally ran into him, and then
Yeah,
Bumrah was
I
not
think there was a
happy.
little bit of a collision, but I didn't think it was anything too serious.
Yeah, but then
Bum-
Bumrah came to him and spoke to him later,
oh, I
and
missed that. Okay, interesting.
yeah, so
Yeah.
Nair got a bit animated, and then Pandey was like, just chill and all.
By the way,
Anyway,
speaking of run-ins on the ground, there was a great moment when Maxi was bowling in this head shake chase against Punjab.
Travis Shake, yeah.
Yeah, Maxi was bowling and Travis' head got into it, and I couldn't initially tell if they were having fun or not, but it looked heated. And then
Yeah,
Stoinis comes in
but
and
then
gets
a
a ball,
Hulk turned up. He's
and then
like,
and then you're just like, what is
it's
happening?
just
These three
diffused.
Aussies who anyway, it was fascinating.
Yeah,
DJ, before we
hilarious.
take a quick break, let's talk a little bit more about Delhi. Obviously, I'm biased, so that was higher up on my agenda. We will talk about a lot else. I want to talk about the game that happened right before this one. RCB makes 163, nothing too crazy to write home about. Good bowling performance from Delhi to restrict them at the Chinnaswamy. Despite that, chasing a small total, Faf gets out quickly, JFM gets out quickly as he's done every game, and then Porel gets out quickly, and you're thinking Delhi's 30 for 3 and 58 for 4. KL Rahul batting at 4 for Delhi. Smacks 93 of 53. Wins a game that could have gone a very different direction with over 2 overs to spare. And then, more importantly, stamps his bat into the ground, pumps his kind of chest, and celebrates, saying this. And if you could read his lips correctly, he was saying, "This is my house." And he's playing in Bangalore, right? He's a Karnataka kid. He's grown up playing there. His family's from there. His wife's family, obviously, Sunil Shetty, and they're all Bangaloreans, Karnatakans, right? Like on a ground where the ball was not coming on the bat, so much so that Kohli was struggling, all the other batters were struggling. He just batted like a dream. How good was that? And by the way, all these interviews are starting to surface where KL's now saying, "I understand that T20 is about hitting boundaries," which is like, thanks, man. It took you 8 years to get there, but it's great to see him kind of back and understanding the role he wants to play and delivering on it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the celebrations, the Kantara celebration from the film, where it's like,
Okay.
this is my patch type
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah.
Um, look, KL has been a revelation this season, right? He's batted lower down the order. He hasn't opened the batting. He may have to open the batting soon. Who knows? Uh,
I don't think so. I think if Jake goes out as he should, I mean, listen, I would either leave
will they
Jake
just
out,
move Karan
play
up
Faf,
or?
or you move Karan up a little, right?
Yeah, I mean, you play Faf if you can because
But I don't
he's
think you play
played.
Faf and Jake. I think you play Faf and
Yeah, yeah,
Karan
Faf
because yeah,
instead of Jake.
yeah,
Although, I mean, Jake's ceiling is like so high, right?
yeah. But his
Like,
floor, man, has been
yeah,
so
the floor
low
can
right
only ever
now.
be zero.
Yeah, but
The floor and
he's been
sticks.
very close to it.
Anyway, no, yeah, KL's been fantastic, man.
Yeah,
Like he's kind of really held the team together. He's batting well. He's hitting the ball well. Um, Today as well, while he was there, it looked like India. Oh, India, no, DC were going to go home. Um, yeah, it's been a good season for KL. I think shrugging off the captaincy has helped him as well. He had that extra pressure at LSG. You can see what it's doing to our boy Rishabh Pant at Lucknow.
hmm,
Who's having an awful season so far.
yeah.
But yeah,
Well,
just keeping wicket and batting is what he does well, and he's doing it well. So I'm really pleased for KL Rahul at the moment.
all right, DJ. Let's take a very quick break. We will come back and talk a little bit more about Lucknow and Chennai and all the other things that have gone down in the last couple of weeks of the IPL. Don't go anywhere. You are watching the Edges and Sledges Cricket Podcast. We will be right back. Welcome back to the Edges and Sledges Cricket Podcast. I said watching because we're live on YouTube. So if you're on YouTube with us, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave us a comment. We'd love to hear from you. But also thank you to all our listeners for tuning in. We always love to hear from you all as well. We're at One Tip One Hand on all the socials and love when you write in and tell us how your season's going. Also, play fantasy cricket with us. It'll be in the show notes. It'll be in the description on our YouTube video. If you're not joined yet, you can join our league at any point. I'm having a very mixed season. I picked Jake as my captain today and he got out for a first ball duck, but it's not bad. It's been fun. I've had some good picks. DJ, you mentioned the Lucknow teams. I want to jump to them and talk about them. Okay, fourth on the table, 8 points, 4 wins from 6 games. You're like, that's not a bad start, man. I mean, that's up there with Gujarat and RCB, tied with Delhi, although Delhi's played one fewer game. Yet you're feeling like the most expensive purchase this season, their biggest purchase, their skipper has just not found it. I mean, Lucknow is coasting on the back of two batters and two batters alone. That Nicholas Puran, currently holding the orange cap, and Mitch Marsh, currently third in line for the orange cap. And others have come and gone and played cameos. Talk to me about Rishabh Pant, right? Like what do you think is going on? How much of it, by the way, Mitchell Stark started his season last year absolutely awful and then found his form and bowled well and eventually did well in KKR's run to picking up the trophy. But is there something about, although a player doesn't ask for a certain amount of money in an auction, is there something about the pressure that's coming to Rishabh with just the price tag that's on his head and all the coverage about that?
I don't think Rishabh Pant thinks that much about stuff, but I think you're right that there is pressure that comes with the price tag, but I don't think Pant takes that pressure. I
Okay.
think when we spoke to Jaydev Unadkat, he said that there was a lot of pressure when he
Yeah,
was the
it's true.
IPL's most expensive player at one point. Pant is now the most expensive player in the history of IPL, right? Ever. I think he's suffering a little bit from playing at a ground which doesn't suit his natural game,
Mm.
if
Yeah.
that makes sense. Big boundaries, kind of slow turning track. Although Nikki P seems to be doing fine. I don't
Yeah.
know.
And I said Marsh, but also Markram. Like Markram is a good player,
Yeah.
spin, but man, those three have just dominated with the bat. And then you have Digvesh is doing really well with the ball. Shardul is having a breakthrough season. First few
But
games were better than the last couple, but so
but
they're doing
sometimes
good.
I also wonder how much Indian cricketers who are in the kind of A list motivate themselves for something like the IPL,
Yeah,
because they play a lot of cricket, right? Like he's come back from Oz. He's then played. He didn't play in the Champions Trophy actually,
yeah,
but he's got like a 5 Test series coming up against England. It's, I mean, it's a relentless. Yeah, you want him to score runs all the time and all of that, but like, I don't mind him having a bit of a dip, to be honest, in the IPL. And I actually sometimes struggle with like how someone like Kohli motivates himself to be like so on it in a format he doesn't even play. Maybe he's on it because he hasn't won the IPL ever.
yeah.
Neither
He
is
has
Pant,
something
but
he's chasing. Yeah,
yeah, but it's a personality thing. I think Pant can quite easily just switch off for like an entire season, and then he'll
yeah,
be fine when he picks up the gloves and tests whites again, and it'd be fine with the bat as well. I mean, it's not like he's done anything different than he does
sure,
usually,
sure.
right?
Yeah, he's
It's
falling
just the
over as
same
he hits his
stuff.
shots. It's the same
Yeah,
stuff.
it's the same stuff. It's just not worked, and I don't think he loses any sleep about this. I don't think anyone is stressed out about his spot in the team.
Yeah, I do especially think that with Puran batting as well as he is, and Marsh and Markram, and then just some of the bowlers showing up, I think when Pant shows up, Lucknow's going to feel pretty good about it. But yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see. I mentioned this on our last episode, but there in the Lucknow game against Delhi, there were definite moments where they lost that game due to captaincy, and so
Mm.
it's going to be interesting to see how much of a rope or a leash he gets. Do I think they're going to not play Punt? Absolutely not. He walks into the side even in bad form. I
Yeah.
think there's a world where he doesn't lead for a long time. Like if maybe they give him this whole season or something, but mega auctions are not for another 2 years or three
Yeah,
seasons
but
too.
Pant won't stay in a franchise that doesn't give him captaincy,
But it's not
as
so
we
much.
found out to our detriment.
Yeah, it's not so much that. It's
Well,
more
when
the
I say
fact.
detriment, we're currently almost top of the table,
Yeah,
so
I more mean. Does he realize he doesn't want to be a captain? He'd rather just be a keeper. Like being a keeper captain and a batter who bats in the top of the order is a lot of work. You can say maybe it's easy to be a keeper captain and bat at
who
nine.
batted number other. I knew it would come.
It was a perfect transition. Perfect
They're
transition.
playing each other tomorrow. It's CSK
Yeah,
versus Lucknow
it's going to
tomorrow.
be great.
Pant
Anyway,
versus Dhoni.
um,
Ah, set
okay,
up.
let's talk
Sick.
about let's talk about CSK. Now that we've come to it naturally. Um, Man, you look at the points table and you say this is one victory from six, and it was the first game they played this season against the Mumbai Indian, who've also had a really bad run. Also, an absolutely abysmal net run rate. Before I share any specific commentary, just talk to me about what's going on with the CSK side because as in the first game where after Gaikwad was ruled out and Dhoni came back, Dhoni was leader of this team and he's now going to lead for through the end of the season. CSK comes out and makes 103. I think it was for 9 technically, but and loses the match in 10 overs. But you're not seeing anybody. You know, this the IPL is one of those things that when things work, these big decisions, these bold moves, like on paper, sides look awful and then they come good. And on the CSK team, you're now looking and seeing Rachin Conway, who both Kiwis, both play in the test setup, Tripathi, Vijay Shankar, Shivam Dubey, and then in some order, Jadeja, Ash, Dhoni, Deepak Huda's come in and out. Noor is a purple cap holder, so it's not an issue with their spin. Khalil's actually had a good season, but this seems like a major batting outage. What do you think is happening overall with CSK and where do they go from here? Like all the Dhoni jokes and stuff aside, how do they fix this?
I mean, you need your top three to score runs, right? Realistically, in a tournament that's this long, you can quite easily even win a tournament, not even getting to number 5 and 6 in most of your games.
Yeah,
I think Gujarat Titans in the first season pretty much just did that. Like Gill and those guys would just not. Miller would come in at like 4 or 5, and that would be it. Like Tewatia batted, I think, 3 or 4
yeah,
times in the
yeah.
whole season. So it has to be top heavy. It's not a bad top 4 or 5, to be honest. Like Conway, Rachin, Tripathi, Huda, Dubey, they're all pretty good players. They just haven't clicked.
So here's
They're
the
in
thing:
bad
on
form.
on paper, it's not bad. The challenge is when they're not in good form. Where do you go? Who do you go to? Right. So you mentioned
Mm.
those 4 or 5 guys. Okay, who's on their bench? You have Deepak Huda, which we
This is
said.
Moin. Moin? It's not in this
No,
one.
Moin's KKR now.
Moin's,
He,
yeah, Moin's replaced Narayan, sorry.
yeah,
Yeah, Moin used to be in the CSK.
yeah.
Moin
So
replaced Narayan in that game.
so then you look at their squad then, and you say they've got Shreyas Gopal, Kamlesh Nagarkoti, Jamie Overton, Sam Curran, Nathan Ellis, and you start going down the list, and it's all bowlers or bowling all rounders. Like and Mukesh Chaudhary, who's played already. Vansh Bedi is a wicketkeeper batter who I haven't heard too much about. He played the Delhi Premier League with Priyancharya and stuff. But did they just get their squad composition wrong in the auction, right? As you're looking here saying, like, we have a couple guys who are having bad batting days. What do? You're just rotating Tripathi, Shankar, Dubey, maybe Huda, but you have nowhere else to go with batting, which is,
Yeah, I mean, Ritu carried a lot of their batting,
yeah,
right? And
and
he
he's a
was the one that
huge
was
loss.
looking a class apart
Yeah,
even while he was fit. So, and they've tinkered with like, he was dropped down to 3, which was a bad move. I mean,
yeah,
I think he's won the orange cap twice,
yeah,
maybe, top of the order. Why would you do that to a guy who bats like that at the top of the order? It's
yeah,
ridiculous, right? Anyway, I think where they're going to go is maybe tomorrow is they're going to put Sam Curran at the top of the order because Dhoni loves a little bit of that.
yeah. That'll
I
be really
suspect.
interesting. Yeah, 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 yeah.
One of the Kiwis is probably going to lose a spot, probably Conway, who I
Yeah,
think got retired out in one of these games.
yeah. Who would deserve it if he loses his spot? Yeah,
Yeah, he scored 69 or 49, and then I mean that's a ODI knock,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
That's not going to work.
Great ODI knock. No
Yeah,
question.
but Sam Curran's got a little bit about him. He was T20 player of the tournament in 22 when England won. He's played for CSK before. He was at one point, I think, the most expensive
Hmm.
player in the IPL. So he's got skills. So I think that's one answer that they need to find pretty quickly. I don't know why he hasn't played. So I think Rachin probably keeps his spot. He also needs like a Jadeja to start smacking them around. Ashwin needs to take some wickets. It just needs people to start coming together because yeah, this is going to be an issue for CSK fans. And I mean, a lot of it's now been overtaken by the MS Dhoni
Yeah,
mania, right? Like your
yeah,
team is 71 for 7 or whatever, and you're screaming Dhoni, Dhoni. Like,
yeah. And it's really,
I
I
get
mean,
it, but like,
I'm enjoying the jokes and memes as much as anybody, but it's got nothing to do with Dhoni. It's you don't win matches off of your number 7. You win the occasional match of the off of your number 7, but even for that, you need one guy, just one in the top order to stand up, and
yeah,
then your 7 can back you up, right? Whether they bat at 7 or 9, it's just it's just tough. Now it's a long season, and these are all incredibly talented guys, so somebody will come good. It's just hard when it's not working, and maybe as hard as it is that Ruturaj is missing out as an incredibly talented young Indian player. Maybe the change will just force Dhoni, to your point, will try something different. Sam Curran will go up the order, get a quick fire 50, and it enables the rest of the order to bat and play their more comfortable form of cricket.
Yep.
Speaking of Indian stalwarts who've struggled a little, let's talk about Rohit Sharma. How hard has that been to watch, man? Like I was trying to pull up his last few innings, but it has just been absolutely disastrous. I mean, again, I captained
How much
him.
does he care? This is the point, right? Like, how much does he's just won the
No, so
Champions
then why
Trophy?
is
He
he?
wants
Then
to
why
go
is
to
he?
England.
Why is
He's
he
got a
playing?
contract. He has to. See, this is the thing, right? He's won the IPL 5 times. It's not got. He's not got the Kohli stuff. He's not
So
captain of the team.
so Rohit this
He's just
season
won the
in
Champions Trophy. He's going
so
to go
in
to
order
England,
just
captain
quickly
India.
in order just quickly 0, 8, 13, 17, 18.
He's living his best life.
I mean, and he got impact player subbed off today,
Yeah,
and
awesome life.
just batting like that's
No
the dream when
fielding.
you're a kid, right? Just bat, go hit a few sixes, go.
It's
Um,
great.
but
No,
but
but
he's
in all seriousness, like how invested will Rohit Sharma be in this IPL?
no.
And
So is that good
this is
for?
this is something that team owners now need to take into account. I think while putting their teams together, like how invested is this big marquee Indian player going to be in my franchise playing?
Yeah, and by the way, linked to that, this will be a good last couple of things to talk as we wrap up today's episode. But do you feel like we've sort of hit a wall? And maybe this is harsh, but sort of hit a wall a little bit with the marquee players, and by that I mean, don't get me wrong, Indian players are doing fantastic. Like you've seen some great work from Sai Kishore, Digvesh Rathi, Vipraj
Hmm.
Nigam has been a revelation, 20 years old, all leg spin bowling all rounder who can hit the ball out of the park.
Ashutosh,
Ashu, of course, Ashu and Shashank last year.
Vignesh,
Um, Vignesh has been great too for Mumbai, but
Priyansh Arya.
and the
Yeah.
magnificent century from Priyansh. I mean, this guy came straight out of the Delhi Premier League,
Mm.
where he had six sixes in an over, and has showed up on the IPL stage and just crushed it absolutely. Have we hit a wall a little bit with the overseas players like that? Who are the overseas players we're still talking about? Narayan, Russell, like Sam Curran, these guys who've been around for. I mean, Russell and Narayan. Like, where's this 20 to 24-year-old young overseas players who are going to come here? Now, some of it is a function of the 4 versus 11, 4 versus 7 overseas versus Indian guys. But I don't know, DJ. It just feels like we're not getting that young overseas talent, finding them early, bringing them in. I mean, Alzari Joseph came in one year and took plenty of wickets in his first
He played
couple of
like two
matches.
games and then he was just 6 for 12. I think he got.
Yeah, like where are those spells, right? You've had Spencer Johnson play. I think Nathan Ellis got a look for CSK. You're just, I don't know. I'm having this existential, like we're playing these marquee guys like the
Mm.
Dhonis and Rohit because they bring in crowds. Got it, fair. Then the overseas slots are just being eaten up by these guys who, it's harsh to say, but are past their prime in my eyes. And we're just missing a little bit of that energy with the IPL.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Maybe the scouting's more focused on India.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
Will Jacks plays for Mumbai. I'm trying to think. Jake was a great buy last year, and he came halfway through the IPL, I think,
Yeah.
uh, into the side.
But the other
Um,
overseas performers are so Noor, of course. Rashid feels like he's getting, and I know Rashid kind of still young, but in IPL experience, he's been around the block. He seems ineffective. Hazelwood Stark has had a decent
Nikki P.
start, but Nicky P's done great, right? So I'm not saying it's a broad-based thing, but it just doesn't feel like Josh Butler has had one good knock, one or two average knocks. Travis Head similarly. So maybe it's a harsh observation. It just doesn't feel like we're finding these young guys who can come and play brilliant knocks and
Pat,
light.
I mean, yeah, the things Pat Cummins is still playing. They've all, as you say, they're more established names. But that's probably again a function of people going for more established names because
Yeah,
they know there's only 4 spots. They
yeah.
want to guarantee availability. There's probably less scouting outside of India. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's you don't have the kind of Shane Watsons and the Jack Callis and the Chris Gale and the
Dilshan and
like. Yeah,
AB and
yeah, yeah. The
yeah,
South African. It seems like, as you say, there's a little bit of fading of that kind of foreign talent. I mean, Ryan Rickleton played a little bit today.
yeah.
Klassen is still. I mean, he's good, but
Klassen
again,
is a
these are all
different level.
established
Yeah,
players, right? But they I think the teams go for more established names because they need those guys to
Yeah,
deliver. They're seen as, I guess they, like in county cricket terms, they'd be seen as the professionals that are there to
yeah,
deliver. Like you go for a Stark, you go for big money, you go for Klassen, you go for big money.
yeah.
A bit
I
of
mean, listen,
Hasaranga.
I
He's done
see
pretty well this season. I
absolutely,
like him.
and the Sri Lankans in general, Thikshana, Kamindu Mendes, they've done fine. I just, yeah, I get it. I think you rely on your four slots to be reliable. I'm sitting here saying Delhi may not play four overseas guys, right? Yes, there
Yeah.
was a Harry Brook dynamic and all that, but if you end up picking Stark as your bowler, Jake is you leave Jake out and you play Faf when he comes back, and like it just feels like they're not helping lead the way they
Mm.
used to. But again, Nikki
Mm.
P is an exception. There's lots of exceptions. All right, DJ, as we wrap up this week's episode, right? Let's talk quickly about this trend of retiring batters out. You mentioned Devon Conway, 16 out of 49 got retired. The more controversial one potentially was Tilak, who was not hitting the ball great, but had been out there for a while, was batting with Hardik Pandya, gets retired out. And then Santner comes in and Hardik denies him the single. So if you were just going to want somebody to run, you should have left Tilak out there. And then Hardik proceeds to then not be able to win the game from there, which is hard. Finishing games is hard. But what is your take on this retiring out? I like it in principle, but I don't think sides have executed it well. And yeah, just wanted your reaction as we wrap.
It's. I think the biggest argument against retiring someone out is that Tewati are not in Sharjah,
Yeah. Yeah. Took
where he
forever
took,
to get going and then went.
yeah, he
That's
took
right.
Cottrell for five sixes in that one over, right? I think so. This trend started, Ashwin, if you remember, with Ravichandran Ashwin being retired out. He's a bowler who can bat,
Yeah.
and he had done his job. They lost early wickets. He'd come in early, smacked a few around, and then he said, "Okay, I'm going to hand over to others
Yeah.
to finish the job." I'm not a massive fan of this retired out business. It's just, I mean, if you're getting Santner in instead of Tilak Verma, that's just stupid.
Yeah.
Like, what? Like, Tilak Verma is one of the world's best batters at this
Yeah.
point in time.
Yeah.
He plays for India. He bats number three. India's a world T20 champion. He bats above Surya Kumar
Right. Yeah.
Yadav in
And
the
he asked
national
for that
setup.
one time and came in and
Like,
went nuts.
what are
And
you
yeah.
thinking? Like,
Yeah.
come on, Mahela. What the hell?
Yeah.
That was a brainless move. I'm not a fan of that. Conway again. Like, look, who came in instead of Conway at that point?
I don't remember. But it must have been somebody
Think it
decent.
may have been a Jadeja, which I can still kind of get. But like, why would you not back a batter to do
Yeah.
a batter's job?
Yeah.
The Ashwin thing, I get. Like that's how it
Yeah.
started.
Yeah.
I
That's
get that.
fair. He's not in the
This
team,
is
but
like just trying to over engineer something that should not be tinkered with.
yeah.
Let the
No.
batters do their thing. And the greatest argument ever was probably that the Tewatia
Yeah.
retired out. Like he was 20 of 20 before he just went berserk and won the game for Rajasthan, right?
Yeah.
And Rajasthan were the one that pioneered that retired out thing.
Yeah.
And they didn't retire him out at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. So when Conway retired out, he was the fourth wicket to fall. So it was for Jadeja. Yeah, you're right. Anyway,
Okay.
very, very interesting. DJ, how's your fantasy league going?
Well, I can't. So what's happened is for the last few years, I don't know, someone at the BCCI hasn't done their GDPR compliance work.
Yeah.
So the UK doesn't allow you to play.
Yeah.
So I'm bored. I can't. I'm just not going to. So when we did Tanzania, that was fine
Yeah.
because
Now
it
that we're
doesn't
back
have
to the
that.
official,
But like Dream 11, bro, I'm sure you've got enough money to afford a decent lawyer in the UK
just
or
figure it out,
wherever the
guys. If
Europe.
you're
Just figure it out and let people in the United Kingdom play. Otherwise, this is not going to happen. I'm sorry. That's not going to happen.
if you're listening, anybody from Dream 11, here DJs, please, and please try to get that fixed. Even if you get it
Yeah.
done
So
sooner rather than later, we'll play the second
I
half
made my team and stuff, but then I'm just like via VPN. I'm just like this is so boring. Like
yeah,
this is just not worth it.
to
I'm
log into
sorry.
a
Like
VPN every time.
yeah.
Fair enough. Well, if any of the rest of you aren't in the UK and are playing, join our fantasy league. You'll see it in the um, show notes here or in the YouTube description. Thank you everybody for joining. DJ, thank you for joining me on a Sunday evening. It's been great. Busy couple of weeks. Next week, actually, Varun and I are going to be watching some of the IPL games together, not live, but
Oh,
from the
nice.
US. So that'll be great. We'll be there next weekend. We'll be back hopefully next week, and we'll talk a little bit more, and we'll see how the points table is evolving. I can't imagine CSK will stay near the bottom. I can't imagine Delhi after this will stay near the top. So lots of fun will
Beginning of
happen.
the end.
We're at One Tip One Hand on all the socials. Leave us a comment. We read every single one. We'll be back next week. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. This is the Edges and Sledges Cricket Podcast, signing off.